There we go. Good morning, everybody. So today we have, of course, David, who usually does the introductions, and we have TelliChubby. So TelliChubby is a multifaceted artist who does music, anime, as well as screenplays and movies. So we're going to let you kind of tell us a little about you, and then we're going to let you run wherever you want to go, and we'll run with you. So tell us about TelliChubby.
Well, first and foremost, thank you so much for having me on Noisy Panda World. Absolutely amazing platform. But that being said, hi everybody, I'm TelliChubby. I do music, anime, art, any form of art. I'm just trying to be like a creative person and try to bring in that positivity, right, to everybody through creativity. So definitely,
Very
that's
cool.
Kind of who I am.
So if you can send us some of your anime, if you want, we will, as we promote this, your interview coming up, we'll promote your anime as well.
Yeah, definitely. It's almost done with the writing phase. A lot of people don't understand how much it goes to making like anime, and especially being a good writer, right? And being a good writer is everything happens, right? Everything is going on one page, which leads to the next page, which leads to the next page, and then which leads to the ending where it brings it all together. So it takes a little bit of time to write that, right? And to make sure that, everything means something, right? So every piece of media that you're consuming and watching, like on rather my TV show or films, right? I want you to, people to be thinking, and that's kind of like my style.
All right, so tell us, you said TV show, so tell us a little about that, and then tell us about like what got you started, I guess, in anime as well.
Yeah, definitely. So I went to school for Cleveland State University for film and media arts, right? So there, I met a ton of people working in films, right? And I was into movies, right? I shot like 4 or 5 short films. Definitely made a little bit of noise on there, but realized, right, as I graduated and in a pandemic, that how do I make money off films? Right? You really can, unless you're in like movie theaters, unless you have a good producer and things like that. And at the end of the day, creating for free is awesome, but also creating to put food on the table means something, right? You can't eat your art. As much as I love art, right? You can't eat it, you can't consume it.
I mean, if you make a nice pizza, maybe, you know what I'm saying? A nice painting, a little like a Mamma Mia. So, but you probably want to put like real food on the table. So
yeah, pretty much, especially during the pandemic. I mean, cooking is art, but at the end of the day, you're cooking, right? You got to buy that materials and things like that. So I decided to transition into something where anime, where I can write it myself and then just bring on, writers, and B, TV shows where I can, like have a little bit more creative, control, but also like more, marketable, right? I could do like cooler things and, reach out to a more variety of an audience, but with more into it. So that's what kind of led me into TV shows and anime.
So now so I know you just did a movie. Do you want to talk about the movie you just did?
Yeah, we've placed 3rd place. So it was a competition, right? It's called the Fun Films Festival in Cleveland. It was the last one, right? So, I'm cool with the people who did it, right? And they were like, whoa, this was a lot. They did a really good job of it and hosting it. But, it was their last competition. We placed 3rd. It's called When the World Feels So Big. And what we wanted to do was like a drama, right? I've done horror, I've done, everything else, but I haven't done like a straight drama. And what this one it's a drama. Now, I did team up with Le Black Square Productions. And, obviously they have the rights to it, but awesome guys, awesome, team. We were able to really like come together and make a heartwarming story about, just somebody, shining light on teens with, brain damage, right? Or brain injuries, right? Like teens that, playing football or, any type of sports, car accidents, right? We really wanted to shine light to say like, hey, like, listen, like we need to stop and take a moment and really like study this and learn for this and what we can do to help these people.
Very cool. So you came in 3rd. So now you're writing your anime. I'm going to go back to your anime because I've seen some of it. So you're writing your anime. So is your anime going to be an anime comic book or an anime like, if we go to Japan and we see anime cartoons?
In theory, I'd like both, but right now we're doing graphic novel, right?
Okay.
Animation just costs time and money,
Right,
right?
right.
And what I'm doing is the old NFL Blitz, right?
Okay.
If you guys remember that old, like, Nintendo
David won't
64.
remember that. David's from the United Kingdom. So the NFL to him is just sounds like a coffee shop. So, their football is that little round thing. So
I like, as much as I love football, the soccer, right?
right.
I do live in America and I live in Cleveland. So
Is,
Cleveland has one good thing, and that's the Browns, maybe. But yeah, it's pretty much the old NFL meets like a Friday Night Lights, right? The old NFL Blitz.
Okay.
So, pretty much like in my anime, the whole world runs on NFL, right? The whole
Okay.
world runs it, right? Everybody's preparing for it. It's a lot of money. It generates the economy, right? So like their whole world is football. And, I'm taking a team, right, who moved from Japan to United States and wants to become the greatest quarterback of all time.
Nice.
Right.
So now, are you going to sell any of your anime as an NFT, or are you going to just sell it as the graphic novel?
I love Noisy Panda, and I'm glad I sided with them. So whoever
Right.
Noisy Panda thinks we should take it, I'm down to take it.
All right. Well,
Matt
you'll send us a couple, and we'll have David actually post it if you want on voice.com as an NFT, and we'll see, and you'll send me and I'll send it to David, and we'll post it, and let's see what happens. Because I know when we post, I want to say cartoonish type things, so it would be anime or illustration like by Wilbur. That gets a lot of play. People seem to like that more. And Connor's stuff is wonderful, but because it's like you have to, I think, appreciate real art, and you can't just be like, that's really cool. Like his stuff, and also his stuff is, $7,000 to $250,000 euro is a little different. Where your anime may be not belittling it, maybe like $100, but at least it's I can afford that type of thing. So that would be a little different than Connor usually and whatever. And Wilbur has a comic book and Wilbur, he has a graphic novel as well. Yeah. So his interview tomorrow may be interesting for you because you want to hear what he's up to. So enough about Wilbur. All right. So
that'd be cool. Honestly, if we do an NFT, that'd be cool. If anybody's willing to buy it, thank you so much. But I could bring them in on the production team. If you're willing to buy it, and willing to help support this cause, I'll bring you in. Right. I'll bring you in. You can become a writer or producer, and you get those credits, those art credits. I'm a flexible person. Right. That's one thing that I learned is to take my ego out of my art. Right. Like I'm all about collaboration, learning from people. Like I'd love to learn from Wilbur. Right. And that's part about being an artist, because the best thing I learned, I spent a lot of money to go to college. Right. It's the most expensive piece of paper I spent my money on. Well, but I am going to say this, though. The best thing I learned in college is nothing in art is original. Right. You could have you think the most original piece ever, but it always derived from something, right? From somewhere, from someone, right? And the best thing about art, go on.
Can I interrupt you? Can I learn something now?
Yeah.
So where did the name come from? I'm sitting here looking at this name, and I've got all these colored characters going on in my head that my kids used to watch. But is that a homage to that as well?
Yeah, definitely. You remember Tiki Wiki La La and Po? I think it's
do I? Yeah. When I brought them back from the UK before they got released here in Holland, and my kids got into it like super early, and they were just making all the noises, and everybody thought they were insane. And within 9 months, most Dutch kids were insane because they were Tinky Winky and La La-ing all over the place. So it's a homage to that, is it?
Yeah.
So should I call you Telly, or should I call you Chubby, or?
Well, don't call him Chubby. No, his fiance will get mad at us. So no, don't do that.
Hey, I mean, I'm in the club, man. So.
No, definitely. So actually, I think the word like TelliChubby, right? Obviously, my last name being for Telly, right? The Telly, but the whole TelliChubby thing came is like, thinking about, keeping it, childlike a little bit, right? Like always keeping like that like creativity or that imagination moving, and then the chubby part being there's so much like body, like so much. You have to be this ripped guy, or you need to be this like really good looking guy to get big and big famous, and people like you. You know what? That's too much expectations, right? I'll stick with the art and food, right? So I'll be a little bit chubby, right? So I don't have to be this ripped guy, over here like promoting my art or something along those lines. Like I just want to be me, and me being I love food, and I'm never really gonna like jump to conclusions or even work out. Right. So
Well,
that's where that name came from.
that must have been something I discovered slightly earlier than you, I think, because inside of this chubby exterior is an extremely thin person trying to escape.
Right. After all this chunky,
Yeah,
there's muscle behind it.
If I could pull the mask off, I'd do it now, but it's stuck a bit today.
Yeah, no, definitely. There's so much about like being this like fit person, and it's like so boring, right? You know what I'm saying? Like, just be yourself. That's pretty much where I like derive that name, and it's kind of like reminding myself to be myself, if that makes sense.
I'm fascinated.
Go ahead. Sorry, David.
Oh, I'm fascinated to see more of your work. I've seen some of the bits and pieces, just tiny bits and pieces. I'm super stoked about being able to the NFTs, and yeah, I totally agree. Be yourself, whatever that is. I always say to people, I'm on the inside looking out. So it's unfortunately you guys have got to look at it. I don't.
Yeah, that's good.
And I think that's a little bit I think that's the way that artists look at their art as well. I've brought it out, I've put it out in front of you, deal with it.
Yeah. And right now, I mean, if I could advise any other artist, just post your stuff, right? Like take your, be you, right? Post your things, there's always someone's going to say something, right? He's too chubby, he's too fat, he's too skinny, he's this, he's that. Just post your stuff, and be you, while you do it,
And post it with Noisy Panda. Let's shameless plugs here, guys. So yeah, or at least let us interview you. So basically it's two old white guys interviewing whoever. I mean, it is what it is. So it's like someone said the other day, it's like the old Johnny Carson, Ed McMahon, which everybody under like 40 won't remember. That's what this is. It's like literally that's it. But I'm not sure who's Carson and who's Ed McMahon out of the two of us. But that's literally what this is like.
Well, I've never seen the show, so I have no idea what you're talking about. But yeah, I suppose we just are we changing the name of the show, because I thought this was like make some noise, but now we have a new name for the show, Steve. Is that what you?
Still noise. Still make some noise.
Is this now two old white guys? Was that the new name of the show?
I will tell you that if we did two old white guys, I bet you would get more viewers than make some noise. And I think literally on this one with Telly, I'm going to say, okay, two old white guys, make some noise with Telly. That's what we're going to do. That's literally what I'm going to call it now. Two old white guys. Yes.
Two old white guys, one artist.
There you go. Two old white guys, one artist. There you go. I like it. And as I said, what's really funny is that will get people, because nobody cares that we're making noise. So it'll just be the two old white guys, because all the old white guys are going to be like, oh, what are old white guys up to today? There you go. So, all right. So you do anime. You made a couple of movies. Wait, you made movies, right? So we've seen your dramatic one. So you said you did horror. So what are the names of your other movies? And if somebody wants these movies or wants to see them, where do they go?
Yeah, no, definitely. It's actually pretty popular on YouTube. I think I have I guess, for me, a couple thousand views is popular.
Nice. Okay.
But Facebook, it hit like 30 or 40,000 views, which was cool.
Okay. If you send us the link, we'll put it in the bottom. So when people are watching the interview, if they want to go check out your movies or whatever, they can go to the links and go click. So if you send us that, we'll take care of that.
Yeah, no, for sure. I'll definitely send the link. Right. Okay. It's Credo. It was my first ever movie, right, that I did. Right. And you learn a lot, there were like, obviously with any like movie, as an artist, you notice your mistakes, but also I only had $100 in like 7 days to film. Okay. So that wasn't a lot to do. And you had to do grade. On top of that, I had paperwork at school. Now that I've graduated, I think I'm like maybe like 2 years like fresh out of graduation.
Right.
So now that I graduated, it's a lot easier to work and, more comfortable to be on films. But yeah, definitely check it out. It's a horror film. It's pretty much, about a teacher who, takes all this like, negativity and everything, and he puts it into a different energy, right? Being a
Okay.
horror energy, and that kind of gives them a little catharsis.
Nice.
Can we get little gifts of those so we can make those into NFTs?
Yeah, you can have anything you want on this film, dude. It's
Yeah.
pretty sweet. I have like
Well, I
really
just
pretty
if you
colors.
slice up all the really nice little bits, and we make these little tiny little animated gifs, and then we can make those into NFTs. Yeah, I mean, if people are already fans of the movie, they've got like these little 30, 40-second clips to as an NFT they can stick in their wallets.
Yeah, I have this cool scene where I got like a sword, right? Oh my god, it was like 20 degrees because every time you film in Cleveland, it's either raining or cold or snowing. Right? Middle of July, people do things, so it's hard to get actors and stuff. So it's like wintertime, people are available and are ready to film. So we're outside, 20 degrees, right? There's a drowning scene, which I guess I play. It's hard to get resources, but they drown me in 20-degree water. Right, I'm over here freezing, and then they do this little like night thing, right, with the sword, right, where they knight the guy who killed me, right? And everything was so cold, right? It looks warm because everything's red, and it's like you see the steamy and smoke, but when you watch it, just know that it was like, I think it was like the real temperature was like 3 degrees outside, feels like -10. So the water immediately froze when the bucket kicked down. That's how cold it was.
Can I just explain to our European viewers of this that 20 degrees is for us actually quite nice. I'm out there with shorts and everything, but you mean Fahrenheit and not Celsius, I take it.
Fahrenheit, yeah.
So, that is what, like that 20 degrees Fahrenheit is about -5 or 6 or something. Yeah. So no, that they understand is cold.
Yeah. So. Definitely. They didn't teach us any of that in our American schools. I wish they did.
Celsius is very simple. You double it and then add 30. So it's very simple. So
that's easy.
Yeah, it's not that tough. Just divide by 2, subtract 30, or do it the other way and add 30. So it's relatively simple.
Yeah, we do feet, inches, and everything. You guys, what do you guys do? Kilometers instead of miles?
They do that in meters. Meters is 1 meter is 3 feet.
Yeah.
And a kilometer is like 0.62, blah, 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 blah of a mile.
I went to college and they didn't even explain any of that either. They just
assumed. Well, that's the nice thing about being on with these 2 white guys now. It's like an extra add-on to your college, and this is all free. I mean, Steve's giving you all this stuff for free. So we're not going to send you the bill in the post. That's the plus.
Well, let's not get carried away.
Do you know I hope more.
Wait, David. Only the 2 old white guys call it the post. They just call it. They don't even know what the post is anymore. They just know email. So
we still have these pigeon things. Like a little message on the claw. You guys you've moved up from that, have you? Or?
The youngies have moved up from it. They have like these devices like in Star Trek where you just walk around and talk all day and not ignore the population and watch movies on them. It's great. Yeah.
Well, if I step out in about a couple of minutes, it's because the nurse is here. But other than that, please carry on.
So all right. So Chad, I've seen your anime, which you'll send, which I like. And we've seen the movie one, we haven't seen the other. You'll send the link to the other. Now tell us about your music, because you're very eclectic in your music. Like I've seen the one where you have the American Indian in front of the Congress testifying. And then I've seen the one with the lion. I've seen the one where you have Chaplin playing Hitler. And then I've seen all the stuff that you have, which will actually have those in the YouTube channel so people can watch the videos. Because as I said, it's just 2 old white guys. We don't know how to edit, and we're not going to try because there's no reason. So we'll just so that people can watch it separately or whatever. But tell us like some of the inspiration behind the videos, and I know you said you may work on an album and whatnot. So what's going on with all of that?
Yeah, so the album I'm working on is called A Taste for Everyone, right? Okay. So along with food, obviously, guys, the food theme. But I wanted everybody to kind of just either if you don't like hip hop, I have something else. If you don't like that, I have all different genres. Like I'm hitting jazz, I'm hitting like funk, I'm really taking it to the next level. But what I'm doing on this album is that I'm putting a little bit of me into it, right? Okay. So like Charlie Chaplin, right, where he's like talking about how, you know, technology is really overcoming and people are not being, you know, friendly and things like that. You know, it's more, you know, hostile. You know, that's me like saying that, hey, listen, like this is, you know, there's so much negative. You know, I want to be a Jedi in a world full of Sith, right? I'm taking just little things like that. I have a Steve Irwin one that I haven't made a video on, but this one is him talking about how much, you know, money he's going to put into the environment and things like that. So like I definitely wanted people to kind of get like you know, a little taste for everything, right? But also like a taste of myself too, right? Into it. Yeah.
So where are you with the album?
I'm like done, but what the cool part is that, you know, I sent it to a couple of friends, and one of my friends, he's his cousin is the guy who did the do 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 on Stranger Things, right? And I'm gonna meet with him, and it's so hard to edit your own things, right? You know, like even with school papers, I would write them, and you know, it'd be hard for me to relook it over, right? Because I'm already on my brain is already on to the next project, right? Because there's so much like stuff, but I'm gonna have him look it over and like do a little master edit, right? And then eventually, also, I don't know if you guys notice what I'm doing is I'm putting copyright free, right? So the old school, the most oldest things, just like, you know, obviously two old guys interviewing me.
Wow, thanks.
I'm finding like copyright things that are like back in the 1900s, right? And I want to bring it back, you know, just modernize it a little bit.
Very cool. Well, no, I saw the Chaplin one. I like that. And then the one with the dancing lions, I thought that was awesome. So there's a lot of stuff that we'll, like I said, we'll put up here on the channel so people can just like watch the video, because we thought about inlaying it all. And like I said, that's too difficult for two old white guys. But we figured in this way, people can just kind of watch it in general. And then that would be pretty cool, because people can just be like, oh, that's really cool. Or this is real. And so we figured that would be really nice as well.
Are you going to change the name now? Because I mean, obviously, TelliChubby is going to be all your visual stuff. Are we now going to go to Music Chubby for
anime chubby,
anime chubby,
anime chubby, movie chubby?
You know, so honestly, you just gave me an idea. That'd be cool to have little like sections of it. You know?
Well, we'll send you the invoice. We will now send you an invoice.
Now there'll be yes, there will be an invoice for that, because there's I gotta
pay the student loans back first. Hold on, guys. Hold on.
Yeah, that's a free brain fart from me. That one.
There you go. I was gonna say, and if he's got to pay his student loans here in America, but his grandchildren will be paying them, so you're good. So
fingers crossed. We haven't had a payment since August, and August is coming up, so it's like
there you go.
Just on the bill, it equals just about as what my rent is here in Cleveland, and I was like.
But it paid off though, because you're actually using it. Some people go to like the entertainment type schools, the movie schools, or this school, or visual arts school, and they don't do anything. They work in an office as an analyst or something. So at least you're getting to actually do you're getting to do what your degree is.
Yeah, and you know what? Honestly, and my set on that is that, you know, it's all about how you make it. You know what I'm saying? It's all about, you know, like who you're talking to and if you're continuing to do it. Right, because a lot of my friends, they did not make it, right? You know, they're working, you know, like, you know, even retail jobs, and I'm like, guys, like, just keep trying, right? Yep. You know what I'm saying? You know, it's all about the little layups in a basketball game rather than the jump shots, right? You'll get to the jump shots, but learn the basics.
Is this opportunity that you said like a lot of your fellow students didn't and not, you know, didn't pursue what they were studying? Is that because there's no opportunities there, or you think it's a mindset? I mean, you're one of the most positive people that I've met in a long time, along with the other, my fellow white guy here, who's also super positive, but nobody can see him. But for me, he's over here somewhere.
Okay. Right.
But yeah, I mean, do you think it's a mindset for you, or they're just not the opportunities, or in Cleveland, wherever that is, somewhere in the US, they tell me.
Well, while I was in college, I was homeless. So like, you know, I was taking showers in the rec center, right? You know, I like literally moved here with like literally a bag of clothes and my Xbox, right? You know, so when I came up here, I had absolutely nothing, right? And, you know, I ended up getting like I ended up renting some trap house. And for those of you guys who don't know what a trap house is, it's like a drug house, right? Where people are just flinging drugs. Like I didn't do all that, right? I was just living there. right? And you know, for me, it's like, you know, it can't get any worse, right? So if I attempt something, it can never get worse than where I was before, right? You know, and there's no regression, right? And I think for a lot of people, either they're like they get a little comfort, right, and then they stay where they're at, or they just don't have like the resources, right? You know, because again, you got to pay rent, right? So like I missed out on a lot of opportunities because I had to pay rent, right? I had to work at Lowe's and another job, right, just to like making like the make means end or whatever, make it pretty much. But you know, a lot of people, right, you know, they need that money, and unfortunately it's a lot more money, right, and things cost a lot more, right, when doing, you know, their art projects. You know, film's not cheap. That's the worst part about it, right? You can't just do it with like one person. Like basketball, you can play with one person and get better, right? Film, I need at least like 3 or 4, right? Just for actors, director, holding lights, right? There's so much more, right?
Are you having to work as well to sponsor the art that you're doing at the moment?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, definitely. I got blessed like during the pandemic, you know, the state picked me up, you know, obviously I'm the youngest one in the state right now, or at least where my job division is. So, but you know, they're very flexible, and you know, my boss is always like, yo, show me your work. You need any time off, like let me know. You know, they're really cool about it, right? And that's what really helps. That's what really helps like an artist grow, right? Is definitely that support structure.
It's very cool. So so what do you got going on now? So anything else? So that we have our music, the anime, we're, you know, all this cool stuff. You're going to do NFTs apparently now with David. So David will be hounding you literally 10 minutes after the call saying, where's that? So by tomorrow. And then you're going to send us links. So what else? What else do you want to, this is self-promotion. Be totally shameless here. You can promote whatever you want. We don't care.
So I met one of my dude named Diesel Dunwell, right? Please look him up on Instagram. Cool guy,
Okay.
100,000 followers. He's making up. So he's been busy. I've been busy, obviously. And we finally linked, right? And he was like, man, he was like, you know, I've been looking to kind of make my own like TV series and things like that. And I was like,
right.
I have a first episode written on one, right? I was like, if I send it to you, maybe do you want to team up? And I sent it to him, and he was like, I'm 100% down for this. Right. Cool. This is a pretty unique idea. And what it is you want to think Stranger Things meets like GTA, or like, you remember the old school, The Warriors?
Yep.
Oh yeah, baby. So it's like Stranger Things meets The Warriors, right? And it's about this kid who struggles in poverty, right? Him and his friends, and you know, they join a gang to make ends meet, right? Just like a lot of people like, growing up in my neighborhood, you know, like a lot of people join a gang, right? Make, you know, ends meet, you know. I was cool with the gangsters, you know, I always filmed their music videos, but I never joined them, right? Because, you know, things you have to do, right, to either get cred, to get the money, right, you know, is not, you know, lines with my Jedi kind of mentality. But with like, you know, our character Cleon and Alex and things like that, right, you know, they have to do what they have to do, right, you know. And I definitely want to shine light on poverty, is that, you know, sometimes, you know, when people commit crimes, you know, it's more than just the crime that they committed, right? It's more like, you know, like either like the situation they brought up in, or even a necessity, right? And I definitely, like, when making this TV series, you know, I want to shine light onto that. But, you know, he picked it up. He was like, man, I really love this. He was like, how do we, you know, let's continue to going forward on this. So the first episode's done. If he wants to write the rest of it, you know, whatever. But, you know, what I'm going to shoot is a proof of concept, right? Just to show what I can do. And then hopefully somebody watching this, or you guys, you know, noisypandaworld picks it up, and then, you know, it takes off from there.
Well, so we'll just assume that we're going to get so many people watching it, because they'll all want to see 2 old white guys just not have a clue, that you'll just be, you know, in a year from now, you can thank this little interview and the 2 old white guys that got you there. When you're on Jimmy Kimmel, you'll be like, I did this YouTube thing with 2 old white guys. And then Jimmy, that's why I'm here today. That's right. They were my first. They were my first. So there. And then Jimmy can, you know, look up the 2 old white guys. There you go.
I'll bring you with me so we can get all the free snacks.
There you go.
But you've written the script for this. You're not going to be So what would your input be then? If it, let's say the dream scenario is tomorrow, somebody says, I like this, let's go further. Are you going to be writing it? Are you going to be directing it? Or how
Yeah,
do you see yourself in that?
yeah, definitely. My specialties is writing, right? You know, just like like certain people have specialties in like NFL, like you got your wide receivers and your quarterbacks. You know, I could direct, but I prefer like just chilling and sitting in the writing room and the concept room, right? And just really like coming up and creating ideas. Anybody else, if they want to film it, they can film it, right? That's a lot of work, right? Where more my brain is like I'm always consistently coming up with like ideas. So that's where I thrive at. So that's where I kind of want to be. But I step up to the plate when it needs to be. So wherever they need me to be, I'm there. I'm a team player. Put my ego aside. I can do anything or learn anything at that moment.
Multi-talented and multifaceted. With everything you're doing, you're a modern Renaissance man, my friend.
We're a yes man, more like
yeah. Okay. Oh, yes man. Yeah, I'm trying to be nice, like inspirational Renaissance man. But yeah, we can put yes man if you prefer. So
or just YouTube it.
See, that's David. That's that device I hear about where the kids watch all the video and they walk around like this and they don't pay attention. And at dinner, they don't actually speak to each other. They're all on this device. And they don't have conversation or dialogue anymore. They just look at this little device all day. That's it. They don't read anymore. They do nothing. They just, that's it.
You can run businesses.
I was going to suggest I make TelliChubby an honorary member of the International Brain Fart Society, because if he's having all these brain farts all the time, all this wonderful stuff pouring out of his head, I say, come and join us. Just get those farts out there, guys. That's what I'm saying.
Exactly.
David is the chairman. David is the chairman of the International Brain Fart Committee. So there you go. He'll have you in no time. Your paperwork to you, and there you go. And he'll NFT it to you as well, so you'll have digital form. So
I'm gonna have to add that to my LinkedIn.
I would say that you're an honorary member of that, because that's big cred. I mean, like, that's street cred, man. Any gang, they'll be like, ooh, brain fart guy.
Man, dude, you can smell his brain farts from here, bro.
Yeah. Well, you see, the thing is, we don't. You don't necessarily have to smell it, but it's just like you just have to find somewhere in your life where you just let them keep happening, because we're talking about bodies again now, but you don't want to get your brain constipated. You want to be able to let it continuously. Doesn't make any difference where it comes from. Bang, it's out. If you can write it down or speak, put it in your phone. I think it's a phone, isn't it? What are these? Is that what they call this? Other white guy? Yeah, right.
Yeah. I think that's what they call it now.
What do they call it?
So.
You just put it somewhere. Don't lose them. That's the thing about being inspirational, I think, and having all this stuff in your head. It can drive you crazy, but if you find a place to put it, also, I found it really useful to have a notebook next to my bed. I'd wake up with all this stuff in my head, and I'd just write down a couple of things. And now I just use the phone. I just get up, just talk into the phone, and then listen to these garbled messages in the morning. But there may well be one pearl.
Yeah.
And that will take, and then I'll probably send Steve, a complete memo about it and drive him crazy. But but that's a good way to keep your creativity going.
Yeah.
That's enough of the gospel according to David, anyway.
There you go.
Well, it also helps make it into tradition. If you see it, say it, write it, it becomes a thing, right?
Yep.
And it's something I learned at too. Like I have all these ideas, but if I don't see it, say it, write it, those ideas just gonna become another fart in the wind.
Yep. That's how Noisy Panda started. It was just an idea, and look where it is today.
Right.
So
definitely crazy, and I'm so blessed to watch this process and how it grows, and like how.
Well, we're glad you're with us.
So
we're glad you're with us. My friend, I got nothing else unless you want to do some more selfless plugs, because two old white guys, we can talk about stuff that you'll be like, what? There were phones that there's a rotary dial, things like, where listeners will nod off. The old people, they'll stay on, but they're like, I remember. Yeah. So
well, like I said, I can't be here for too long because the nurse is coming.
Yeah, they have to change his diaper and he has to get fed. Yes. So that's it. Telly. as we would say. Thank you so much for your time. It was great. It's always great to talk to you, and it's great to see you. When the next new thing comes out, if you want, we'll do another one of these. By then, maybe we'll have figured out how to edit it. And if not, it'll just be self-promotion a whole nother way. So, and then we'll go from there type of thing.
Oh, it's cool.
Yeah, I tell you, it's been so good to speak to you today. I've only sort of very briefly spoke to you in the past, and I realized that I should be speaking to you a lot more. You're an incredibly creative young man, and we wish you, lots of success going forward. And just send me a whole load of stuff, because we're going to be making NFTs of them.
Yeah, no, definitely. I'll send it my way, dude. Thank you guys so much for having me on. And I always say, be blessed and be safe, guys. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.